It all happened in a single day.
You know, groups don't just break. It's never that clean. It starts with something much smaller.
It starts with the lean, just this tiny, almost unnoticeable shift toward one person and away from another.
And the thing is, before anyone even has the guts to admit what's happening, the sides are already there. The lines are drawn.
So, this is the morning after. The morning after everything changed. And you can just see it. The group arrives in pieces. It's not like there was a memo. They just stopped waiting for each other.
And all of it unfolds over the course of just one day. A quiet, steady stream of choices that ended up redrawing the map of their friendship entirely.
We start in the classroom. People start trickling in, finding their seats. But today is different. For the very first time, where you choose to sit, well, it feels like you're making a statement.
You see Mira. She sits right next to Tanae. It almost looks expected now. Then, across the aisle, Sonnet picks a spot near Rhea.
And then there's Kabir. He just stops. He hesitates. It's only for a second, but it's the kind of pause the whole room can feel, even if no one's actually looking at him. And he sits with Rhea and Sana. That's his choice. Across the room, you can see Tone notice it. There's this flicker of confusion on his face, and then, just as quickly, he looks away.
See, nobody had to say a thing. Words weren't needed. When the break came, the weight of that one quiet choice, Kabir's choice, you could just feel it hanging in the air.
He walks over to Rhea and Sana. And you have to understand, for Kabir, the guy who hated drama, who never ever picked a side, this was a massive deal. This was everything.
He doesn't make some big speech. He just asks, "Hey, you okay?" And that's it. He doesn't say anything else. He just stays. Of course, across the hall, Mira sees it all. Instantly. She has this radar for things like this. She sees Kabir, and she sees he's not with Tana. So she leans in toward Tanae. "I think people are being awkward for no reason," she says. It's quiet, almost a throwaway comment, but it's an attempt to manage the situation, to pull him back to her side. Later that day, in the library, you start to see something new take shape. Not the old routine. Something else is starting to form. There's Rhea, just studying. Sana is with her, and then Kabir comes over, drops his bag on the floor, pulls up a chair, opens a book. No big deal. But it is. He just asks, "So, group study?" And right then, for the first time all day, you see Rhea actually smile. It's faint, but it's real. You know, the thing about a quiet choice, the cost isn't really felt by the people making it. It's felt by the ones who are left standing in the space that's left behind.
And now, here's Tanae. In the canteen, holding his tray, he's just looking around. And he sees it. Kabir's not there. Sana's not there. Rhea's not there. Suddenly, the space around him just feels huge, empty.
Mira's there, of course. She says softly, "They're just being sensitive." But this time, Tanae doesn't answer. He doesn't even nod. He just keeps looking across the room at nothing. Nobody made an announcement. Nobody declared which side they were on. They just started showing it. Rhea, Sana, and Kabir, they're the library group now. Tanae and Mira walking down the hall together, but in total silence. And then there's Aryan, just sort of floating between the two, caught in the middle.
By the time evening rolls around, the shift, it's just real. It's undeniable. Mira sends Tanae a text, an attempt, maybe, to close that growing distance. He sees it, reads the message. You can see him start to type a reply, and then he stops. He just deletes it and sends nothing back. And in that one silence, that's when the lines were finally drawn. Not with angry words, but with quiet, empty distance.
So where do they go from here? Well, what happens when the cracks start to turn into fractures?